Hey everyone, welcome back. Bruce with DIY Homestead Projects. And this is the conclusion video of my Harbor Freight Flux Core Welder Modifications series. I've got the welder completed. I installed the bridge rectifier to convert it from AC to DC. The caps installed, 70,700 microfarads in caps to help smooth out the arc, and a brand new 15-foot grounding lead with a clamp on it, with a new clamp. So this will be the test to see how it does in comparison. I've got bolted to my Harbor Freight welding table my test piece that I used in the first video to show the weld strings that I was able to do with the stock Harbor Freight Flux Core Welder. This particular one is the Harbor Freight 90 amp, and it's about 5 years old. I've had it around here for quite some time. So I'm going to get this set up and get my welding hood and run some beads on here. I've got a clean piece on the corner of this. You may not be able to see it, but I'll adjust the camera and run some beads and see how it does in comparison to how it did prior to the conversion from AC to DC. Should be interesting. Let's turn the machine on. The fan is coming on. Nothing's blowing up yet, so that's good news. I have it set, I have the welder set to minimum and 3.5, which is pretty close, I think, to where I was when I did these first welds. Alright, let's see what happens. Keep our fingers crossed. Ground clamp. Alright. Well, nothing blew up. Let's see if the capacitors are working. Yeah. So the 450 ohm resistor is not instantly discharging, which is good. What I'm going to do is run several beads, I guess, and then clean them up with the grinder wheel, and then we'll have a look at them. I'll just run a couple more beads here. Yeah, it blew through a couple times there on that one. Plus I'm kind of by a hole in the metal. Let me move over. We'll run one over here where it's kind of clean. Here's the first one I did. Right next to it, the second one where I blew through a couple of times. One hole was already there, and then I blew a couple holes over here. And these are the last two that I just did. Still blowing holes through there pretty regularly. But again, this is really thin metal. It's probably too thin. So I tried to actually speed up a little bit right in through here. The slag coating looks about the same as it did before, and I don't know, I think maybe the BBs are a little bit less than what it was. Let me get the grinding wheel with the wire brush and clean that up, and we'll see what it looks like after I clean it up. That's what it looks like after the cleanup. The first one was the best. I think the metal was the coolest at that point. And then these other two. So I'm going to turn the wire speed up just a little bit. My understanding is if it's too hot, if I throw more wire at it, it'll help cool it down a little bit. So let me turn it up to 4.5, and I'll try to run a bead right through here, and we'll see what that does. Okay, we're on minimum and 4.5. Seems to be welding pretty nice though. I think the arc sounds fairly smooth. It's going to take some time with the machine to really, I guess, make a determination if it's better or worse. So let's see what happens here. Well, that felt like it went pretty nice, actually. I'll show that one to you. That weld actually looks pretty decent to me. Slag coating, fairly smooth. We clean it up, we'll see what that looks like. Alright, there's the finished weld all cleaned up. I mean, for me, I think it looks halfway decent. All of the BBs cleaned up. Nothing was left on the metal there. So I'm going to run a few more beads and then clean them up, and we'll have a final look at them in the shop underneath better lighting. And kind of come to a conclusion as to what I think about the conversion and whether it was worth the efforts. So hopefully that lighting is a little better. Here's a look at the welds that I just finished. Those 3 welds right there in the middle of the screen. These 3 here. Those were the best that I was able to do with the new Harbor Freight Flux Core Welder Mods that I just finished doing on that machine. And here's the comparison with the first welds that I made with it prior to the modifications. I'm still burning through the metal, but I think it's a lot of that's technique, settings, and just experience. I think maybe doing a series of spot welds versus trying to run a bead might be better for this thin metal. I mean, this is almost as thin as automobile sheet metal, but I do like the welder. It seems to me as though it runs smoother. I certainly need more practice and more time on the machine to really determine what it's capable of in comparison to what it was before the modifications. I think the machine runs smoother, and ultimately it's going to be a better machine for flux core, I believe, because it's actually a true DC welder now compared to being an AC welder that it was before. And it says right on the roll of wire, for DC electrode negative is how you're supposed to run that flux core wire. So I think that in itself is going to be an improvement. It's a good cheap machine to start with as far as I'm concerned. Even after the modifications, I'm still $50 or $60 less than the cheapest AC flux core machine that I'm aware of anyway. I had a lot of fun doing the modifications and making the videos for you guys out there. Let me know in the comments what you think about the comparison of the before and after welds. What your thoughts are. I'm sure some of you out there that have some more experience can maybe point out a few things about the welds that I'm not capable of noticing. If you guys like the videos, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. I appreciate you guys watching the videos. Hope you guys are all doing well, and we'll see you on the next video.